So I made a community post where I talked about something I just thought of to maybe solve my socializing issues or to just improve things a little bit. And the fact of the matter is, no matter what, I'm still going to be me and I'm still going to be different from other people. And part of me likes that, but I also get very bitter about it. But basically the idea is, if you find yourself like not fitting in with people a lot, or just feeling very like anxious or uncomfortable or something, basically you take the idea that human beings always like to be around similar people. And one of the things I wrote down that came to mind is the classic thing, birds of a feather flock together, right? So if you're like the same as somebody else, like you have the same skin color, or you're the same sex, or you're the same age, then you will have an attitude that will make you more comfortable with them, and they will be very comfortable with you. So, or the idea is that it will make them more comfortable with you if you feel like you have something in common with them, even if you're not saying anything. The idea is that if this doesn't change anything without some sort of word, like if this internal change doesn't automatically change things without extra effort being put in, then it's not real. Then this theory that I'm coming up with isn't real. And the theory is just that if you imagine, I might be repeating myself, it's okay. I'm driving, so I'm a bit distracted. If you imagine, take any person and you want to get close to that person, you want to get physically close to them, and maybe even say something to them, or you just want to feel comfortable around them. Like that's it. Like baseline, you got to feel comfortable around somebody to socialize with them. Because if you were totally on the farthest thing away from feeling uncomfortable is feeling like you're in danger or something, right? Or I mean, the farthest thing away from feeling comfortable with somebody is feeling like you're going to be in danger with them. Like that is maximum discomfort. So the idea is to maximize your comfort with somebody, because if you're uncomfortable being around somebody, you're going to be, even if it's not in any words that you say, it's like in every single tiny little action and microfacial expression, and your body language and the way that you walk. Or maybe this is just applies to me, I don't know. But I think it applies to everyone. If you're uncomfortable around somebody, then you're uncomfortable around them. That's not really that hard to understand. So if you make yourself comfortable with somebody by imagining that you have something in common with them, and really it's not imagining like coming up with something out of the blue. You just look at that person and you think, what do I have in common with them so that I can feel like I understand this person, they understand me. And the thing is I think that people already do this. Like I think I might have discovered like the neurotypical, like this is how neurotypicals socialize. Like they just automatically think like this. Or it's just more of an instinctual thing, really. Because if you notice, like if you're an autistic person, and I'm not necessarily saying that I am autistic, but let's be real here. Probably. But regardless, this advice should help. Or at least I would be interested to know if it helped anybody. Basically, people tend to like group up like schools of fish. Like they'll stand close to each other and like they're just kind of like they're just in it, like, and you're either in or you're out, you know what I mean? So basically what this is trying to do is you're disguising yourself and convincing yourself that you're one of the purple fishes. If you want to group in with the purple people, just find something in common that you have with the purple fishes that tricks your mind, like your whole being, into believing that you are a purple fish actually. And really, it's not even a trick, it's just the reality. So you figure out, or you change your color, or you reveal one of your colors as a purple fish, and you have that in your mind, and you're thinking that these people are also purple fish, like they're the same colors. So when you're a man and you're a biological male and you're at school, boys tend to socialize with boys because they see something in common and they have something in common with each other. Even if they don't have anything else in common with each other, there's always the truth that they're both boys, they're both male. And men understand each other on a level that women can't because we are men. Like, if I look at you, what is it? I don't know what this person in front of me is doing. But if I look at you, and you're a man, I know, even if I can't articulate properly what it all is, I know that the most private, and like the most private and hidden and darkest parts about being a man are within you. And I know exactly what that's like, and I know exactly who you are. But if you're a woman, I don't really know what I'm looking at. Like, the woman part is unfamiliar to me. So, like, with this trick, it's very easy, and you see, like, different types of men will socialize with the same types of guys. And so, like, if this was a school, we would say, like, the jocks socialize with the jocks, like the athletic kids with the athletic kids, and the nerdy kids with the nerds. But it doesn't have to necessarily be that way, because the fact of the matter is, even if you're a nerd, you're still a man. So you have something in common, like very deep in common with all the other boys at school. And you should be able to socialize with them if you keep in mind, hey, I'm a man, this is a man, I understand this person, they understand me. And you allow that to make you comfortable, and you allow yourself to have this internal conviction that you and that other person are the same, at least on this one level. And I think that my guess is, I could be wrong, but my guess is that the more things you can find, and the deeper you truly believe them, that you have in common with these other people, the better this will work. So, if you want to socialize better with girls, just in like a normal platonic way, then, because the thing is, like me, I'm just like this with everybody, but I guess maybe it's even more so with girls, because it's like, I don't really understand them. But if I just think, what do me and this girl have in common? So, like, not talking about the same woman that I have been talking about, but if I imagine this other girl, I can think, well, me and this person are both young. We're both young, and we're both, I could say we're both straight, right? So there's like a certain understanding there of like, if I just keep that in mind, then I can be comfortable. And if I don't worry about the things that I don't know, so like maybe if I can just focus on what I do know, then it will be easier than if I'm focusing on the unknown. It's like building a foundation to socialize off of. And I think that normal neurotypical people probably do this automatically without realizing it. Because I remember when I was studying autism, somebody pointed out how neurotypical people will basically act like those schools of fish that you see that just group up together. And it's because those fish look at the other fish and they know that that's the same kind. So, and even like the word kin, like kindred, kind, right? It's of the same kind. So, the last 2 days, actually like day and a half at work, I've been trying this technique out. And the cool thing is, I don't seem to necessarily have to be able to name what I find in common with the other person. If I have any feeling that I have something in common with the other person, and it doesn't have to be anything very deep at all, I don't think. Maybe it helps if it is, but it seems to me that even if I find something very simple and meaningless that me and this other person have in common, like for example, I was wearing some glasses. Well, this other person was also wearing glasses. Now the thing is, they weren't even the same type of glasses. One was safety glasses, the other person was wearing like actual vision glasses. But it didn't matter to me, and I was just like, oh, this person's just like me. We're both wearing glasses. We have so much in common. And then it just made it a little bit easier to socialize. And like, basically, I usually think very deeply about what I'm going to say. But the last day and a half, I can just go up to people and start talking to them. Or even if I'm not talking to them, I can go up to them and stand closer and more comfortably than I ever have. Because usually how it would be is I tend to have a very big bubble, but now that I have this trick, this technique would be a better word, because I'm not sure it's a trick, it's just a technique. I imagine something I have in common with somebody, and it's very easy to act like them, or to behave in a way that where I'm comfortable with them, as if I've known them for a long time or something. And so, like, I usually have a very big bubble, or at least I have in the past. But now, if I want to stand close to somebody, all I do is I just think of something I have in common with the other person, and then I just go and stand next to them because they are my kindred in that way. Like, it just happens. And it's so easy, and it's so comfortable. And if I have something to say, I can say it. And if I want to look in their eyes, I can look in their eyes. And it doesn't really affect me. Because I'm just thinking, with most of my coworkers, I just kind of think, well, we're both working here. We're both stuck working here. We both understand what it's like to work a 9 to 5 and to be tired and to work for 8 hours or even more and to not really want to be here. And so it's kind of like it's a lesser version of being a veteran and feeling like you have something, you have some, like, this connection to other veterans, because basically all those people went through that experience of going to war, but for me it's just a 9 to 5. And all these people around me, they have the experience of going to a 9 to 5. And I have that experience. So I can just build off of that. And it sounds really simple, but to tell you the truth, I don't think I did this. I did not think this way. Because I'm not sure why. It's like I just never. Maybe I didn't think that the similarities mattered. Because really, you can think, well, what does it really matter if we're both working a 9 to 5 and we both know what that's like? That doesn't mean anything. Well, I don't know, but the point is just that now I can talk to people and look them in the eye and be near them like I know them. Because the truth is, if you know something that you have in common with another person, if you really think about it, you know that person very, very deeply, very intimately. Just off of that. Like, this is why, let me not go off on a ramble somewhere else, but I know basically think about what that tells me about other people, that I know that they work a 9 to 5 and I know exactly what it's like to do that. Honestly, I'm not sure I could explain it in words, but I know so much about the other people working a 9 to 5. And it's honestly really fascinating to me that this whole idea, and the fact that this wasn't a natural instinct for me in the first place is kind of fascinating to me. And I'm just wondering if this will help others or if it was only going to help me. But I think it's going to help me. It seems to be doing it. And it's only been a day and a half. But like, for example, so this girl that I've been feeling very sad about, because first she was into me and then she's not, or maybe she is, I don't know. But obviously that's something that will make things very uncomfortable between us. But now what I can do, and the thing is, I think I was already doing this. Every now and then I would do this, because if now what I can do is I can imagine something that me and her have in common, and I can feel very comfortable with her. Even if she's still uncomfortable, I can make myself comfortable, and that'll make her more comfortable anyway. So the thing is, as I would automatically do this under very specific circumstances. For example, if because of my work ethic, if I am literally tasked to do something with somebody, like share an activity with somebody, then I can just look at it, well, this is my duty. I have to do this. So normally, you know, like talking to a pretty girl, it's not really something that I feel comfortable with, and it's not really something I want to do anyway. But if my boss were to tell me, go over there and ask her a question real quick for me, or something like that, right? And it can be any girl, it doesn't have to be this girl specifically. Then I'm going to do it, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm just doing this because my boss told me to, and I have that. It just makes me comfortable, because I go into work mode. And I'm thinking, well, this other person, this girl, should understand I'm just working. So she should be able to tell that I don't really care about whatever, about her girly stuff right now. I'm just working. And so it makes me very comfortable, right? But if somebody were to maybe invite me to their lunch table, in the past, that has made me very uncomfortable. And I really don't like eating in front of other people. So I pretty much, I've turned down like a few, like twice really, of like, maybe once, I can't remember. But the thing is I have chosen to spend my lunch breaks by myself, and I'm going to keep doing that. But for example, if somebody were to try to get me to sit and eat with them, I'm confident that with this technique, I could make my discomfort disappear by keeping in mind something that I have in common with the other person. In the past, basically, if like for example, one time I just sat down at a table by myself because they were serving, occasionally my work will have like a pizza party or something, right? So you grab a few slices of pizza, and it would feel weird to walk to my car with pizza, so I put it on the plate, or it's on the plate already or whatever. And so I need to sit down somewhere. I don't want to sit down next to anybody, because that's not how I roll. So I sat down by myself, and this man, he sat down with me, and he nodded, and I proceeded to be extremely uncomfortable. And all he was doing was just sitting there because there probably wasn't very many places to sit. But the whole time I was thinking like, either consciously or subconsciously, like, I have nothing in common with this person. Or maybe it wasn't that I was thinking that, but it's like he sat down and I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? Do I nod? Do I say hello? Oh wait, he doesn't speak much English. Or like, should I say something? Do I like look at him? Do I make eye contact? Is it weird that I'm looking away so long? And that's what a lot of my interactions go like. But now what I would do is I would just remind myself that this is a man and I'm a man, and we are both working men, so we both work and we're both at the same place, and we both needed somewhere to sit, and we're both eating pizza. And that would just make me comfortable, as I think, well, I have so much in common with this person. And so I can just picture in my mind, like, I'm not going to narrate what I would do because that's silly, but I would just know I would be comfortable, and I wouldn't be in my head thinking, what do I do? Should I do this? Is it weird that I'm not this, or like doing that? Should I say something? Like, I'm not going to do that. But if I just make myself comfortable, then I know that I'll be comfortable, and I won't be worrying about all that stuff. So basically, when it comes to autism specifically, there's what you call masking, which is where you're pretending to be like everybody else. You're hiding what makes you different and just pretending to try and fit in. And typically what autistic people do, I believe, because this is what I do or have done, is you're perceiving the information, you're getting visual and auditory input and things like that, and then you're trying to take the time to mentally calculate what is the appropriate response to this thing that just happened, and then you're attempting to act it out. And as opposed to just being the same, or just having those same underlying assumptions that will make you act in such a way where you will be relatable and understandable and comfortable and comforting. Basically, you can either mentally calculate every individual reaction and not recognize what the foundation of that interaction is built on, or you can build your own foundation for that interaction. So, like, for example, here's what I'm getting at. Like, maybe you really understand what I'm talking about. Hold on a minute. Okay, I just wanted to split this into 2 recordings in case something happened and the first part didn't save. So I'm still talking, I'm still driving. So what I was going to get at next is, for example, like, the thing is people always have their own assumptions of what's going on. But the important part is not that you believe the same things that the other person believes. That's not the important part. The important thing is just that you have some sort of foundation here, some sort of belief about the other person and yourself, which makes you recognize that you are the same as that other person, that you're on the same page, you're on the same wavelength, at least on some level. It doesn't have to be a soulmate connection or something if you're talking to your boss or like one of your coworkers or the lady at the mail office or something. It just has to be something, and it doesn't have to be big. So, like, for example, sometimes I have heard from secondary sources, not myself, but sometimes when people will go on a date with a person and they won't realize that they're on a date because the other person didn't specify that it was a date. Or sometimes somebody will ask somebody on a date and the person being asked by that person will not realize that they're on a date. And so one person thinks that they're hanging out just as friends, and the other person thinks that it's a date, right? Now the thing is that both of those people were able to interact with each other and get along, even though they had wildly different interpretations of what was happening. But they still had those beliefs about what was going on that made them comfortable where they were. You understand what I'm getting at? So, the idea isn't necessarily to actually have in common. Now, obviously, it's better if you're accurate about this, and you actually do get things correctly, because especially as you grow, like, a deeper relationship with somebody, for example, like if your friendship is progressing, or your relationship is progressing, or you're just trying to, whoever it is, you're trying to get along with somebody more, it's obviously better if you understand the truth about the situation and you don't have some sort of mistaken belief about things. So you definitely, it's better to perceive things properly. But if you have issues with perception or with the mental calculation that is causing you problems in socializing. Now, for me, I don't have issues perceiving things as far as I know. However, the way that I act is not normal. So I'm tricking myself, I'm techniquing myself into acting more casual and more normal. Because I just think, okay, I want to go talk to that woman over there who's like 30 years older than me. Now, her being much older than me is a bit of a barrier, but I can think, well, we both work here. We both kind of think the other person is chill, so we have like this bond because we've talked before. I'm just going to walk up to her and talk. And that's exactly what I did earlier. And you know what the weird thing is? I can't even remember what I said to her when I walked up to her, because it was so natural that I wasn't thinking about what to say. I know that, like, the thing is, I think that my audience, you guys, if you've listened this long, I feel like anybody that likes my channel might be on the spectrum, so you might get where I'm coming from with this. You might understand on like this really deep level what I'm talking about. Or what I'm talking about just might sound like the stupidest thing ever. But I'm telling you, I think that I've struck gold all of a sudden. And I think it's just because I had so much time to think about it. I've had so much time, especially at this job I'm working now where my mind is not occupied. I can just think and think and think. And if I put my mind to something, I can figure things out eventually. But I've been thinking about this stuff, like just how people socialize and whatnot, for a long time. And I think I've figured something out, and I'm not sure what to call it, but I believe that this is literally going to change my life. And I'll just be able to relax and to get along with people, and I'll be able to be... I'm not pressuring myself into doing anything here. It's just I'm making myself more comfortable, and then whatever happens next is very natural. The thing is it's like, so before I just got off work before I started this recording, and the girl that I had romantic interest in, there was a few minutes there where we were waiting for something and we were standing near each other, and basically it's awkward, right? Because I told her that I would date her and she turned me down. She changed her mind. Like, she showed... Whatever, I've told the story. So it's very awkward, right? Even though we're trying like really hard to not make it awkward. And we don't have anything wrong, like, we don't have any problem with each other. It's just kind of awkward. But so we're just kind of standing there, and like, I guess there's basically this discomfort of not being sure what the other person is thinking is, I mean, it's causing us discomfort. It's making it hard to look at each other or to say anything without some kind of adult supervision, so to speak. Like, there's this other woman that we're both friends with, right? And she's kind of part of this whole thing and very well acquainted with everything that happened, as far as I know. But she can talk to either of us. So if she walks up and she starts saying something, then me and the girl can say things to each other because now we have the woman in common, right? So we're both friends with her, and so we're both thinking like, oh well, now the woman's here, and like I'm not trying to explain it. It's like now we can both be comfortable with each other because it's like we both know that the other person isn't going to say anything that's going to like catch us off guard. So like I told this girl that I wasn't going to bother her, but I know that if I was her, I would still be wondering like every moment if I was going to say something. And so like for example, I think she might have cut her hair or got her hair cut, and I was almost thinking like I should tell her that it looks nice because I do think it looks nice. But also the only reason I would do that is because I would be trying to hit on her more, and I'm not going to do that because I told her I wasn't going to bother her. So the fact is I actually am thinking that thought. I literally am thinking that thought in that minute. So that's creating like this problem for me, because now I can't figure out what to say because I'm thinking about the difference in how we feel. And she's in a similar boat because she's thinking of the difference where she knows that I like her and she doesn't feel the same. So when we're focusing on that difference in those awkward minutes or whatever, then it's it's basically impossible to socialize. It's impossible to say anything to each other, whatever. But if something comes up and like maybe we have a common task and we're both doing it, then we can both focus on that. We can be like, oh yes, now we're working. We're both working. We're just working. That's all we're doing. We're just working. And also, I know that I'm kind of like, I might be projecting a lot of things onto her. She might not feel it as awkward as I do, but I think that she does. And this is kind of just an example anyway. So basically the idea is you gotta find some sort of common ground or something, right? Like, you've gotta just have like common ground. Ground is a foundation. It's a foundation for socializing. It's a foundation for speaking to the other person, or for looking them in the eye, or for being able to stand close to them. And I can do this with her. It's going to be more difficult because I'm going to have to, first of all, even if I destroy the barriers, like if I stop thinking about the differences I have with her, even if I do that and I use this technique and it makes me comfortable, that's not necessarily guaranteed that she will be. Although I think it will help. So, but I can do this with her in theory, and I can make myself more comfortable, and I can do it with my older coworkers, I can do it with my boss, and I can just feel like I know the other person that I'm talking to, and that they know me, even if they don't know me. And you know, I'm not gonna explain this to anybody about what I'm doing, because they'd probably be like, "Wow, that is really autistic," and they wouldn't care because they don't have problems socializing already. But I can use this to socialize, I think, with just basically anybody. I just need to realize, like yeah, I have something in common here. Guys, I'm telling you that the internal piece of like this internal piece, this change I get from this conviction that I am the same as the other person. I can feel it working and helping me so much, even when I'm just walking around. Like, I swear, it changes my body language when I'm just walking around and I'm not talking to anybody. Okay? And that makes sense, because if you're uncomfortable, you're going to have uncomfortable body language. Like, you're going to be masking while you're walking, right? But if you literally feel comfortable, then you're not going to be doing that, and there won't be that effect. I'm telling you, like, every single thing that I did was being affected by this problem of feeling like I don't have anything in common with other people, and feeling like they don't understand me, which they don't, and I don't understand them, which I don't necessarily. But I can use this technique to think about what I do understand. And so when I look at somebody, if I'm looking at another man, I know that he is a man, and I understand him. I understand him on such a level that a woman will never be able to understand a man, just because I'm a man too. And it tells me so much about him. And that makes me comfortable when I feel like I know the other person, and I also understand that this person knows I'm a man too, so they understand me. I'm telling you guys, I think I might have just found something that might change my life, and I want to write this down if it does help anybody. And I don't know, I want to like try to like spread this around. I'm certain that this works and that I'm right about this. Like, I can feel it. I want to help autistic people socialize. Like, that's what I want to do. That's my idea here. I want to make it so you don't have to mask anymore, and you can just literally be comfortable with people. It's not going to change the autistic parts. It's not going to change the weird parts. You know, maybe your problem isn't autism. Maybe it's something else. But just do away with that in the moments where you're talking to somebody, and just think about what you have in common with them. Even if it's something small, like, just experiment with it. If you're listening to this, you know, like, that person is wearing shoes and I'm wearing shoes, and I know what it's like to walk a mile in shoes, right? Maybe I haven't walked a mile in their shoes, but I know what it's like to walk a mile in shoes. And so I understand that person on a very deep, like, I just understand them intuitively, because I know what it's like to be a human being and to walk around. Get what I'm talking about? So, yes, I'm still different from other people, and yes, I may be autistic, and that does make me, that could still cause issues, maybe. But if I keep in mind what's similar and what's same, then I think it's going to help.